All right, good evening. How y'all doing? This is this week's edition of the Reliable Representation Show. We getting set it up, y'all. We were running a little bit behind. I got Brittany still got the what is that? A silk press? What is that?
He ready to get started,
A silk press, y'all.
Yes, I got a silk press.
Got-
He got the music on.
I know he got us back. We feel good to have him back, y'all. We're gonna be coming on in just a moment. Y'all sit tight. Uh-huh. Y'all have no idea what we're gonna talk about. We ain't got no script tonight, y'all. We just gonna we got a lot going on. All right, good evening, District 66, Hinds County and surrounding areas. This is none other than Fabian Nelson and Miss Brittany Bowman here on the Reliable Representation Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We have a very interesting and exciting show this evening, so y'all make sure y'all stand by. What's going on, Miss Bowman?
How are you?
Tired. I'm good, though. I'm doing good.
You
Yes,
good?
I'm good. I'm good. I got enough energy to push on through this show, and after this, I'm going home and getting into bed.
Wow.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm surprised to hear that you're going to bed again.
I am. I went to bed early last night. I surprised you with that too, didn't I?
Very much so. That's why you're so live and upbeat today, huh?
It is. I needed to rest, y'all. It has been a rough week. It's been a rough week. That's all I'm gonna say. It's been a very, very rough week. And I've been working on one bill. So it's been a rough week working on one bill that we finally put some closure to today. Well, for a minute, because it's gonna come back around. But we'll get into that in just a little while. So Ms. Bowman, we won't go over the church announcements for now.
Okay. You all know that we did commemorate Dr. King's
Why
birthday.
you here whispering over here? You speak up some folks. You whispering, trying to be proper. You folks know you sound. Come on, speak it to the mic.
Dr. King's birthday. What did you do in honor of Dr. King's birthday? Did you put a quote out? What type of service?
We have some a community service project scheduled for later on this week.
Okay.
I'm going to be up in Yazoo on Monday. I'm celebrating at Oak Grove AME Church. They're having a program in honor. They always do a walk in commemoration of the walk that Martin Luther King did when he came to Yazoo City. And so I'm going to be a part of that, as well as I'm going to go to the program. I'm going to be speaking at the Martin Luther King program, on the 20th. Isn't that Monday? Oh, yeah, on Monday. Mm-hmm. So that's it. And, we just got to keep the legacy alive, keep the dream alive, refresh the dream. And that's what we got to do.
Wow. Okay. Well, we do want to state that we have the parades coming up this weekend. So tomorrow's Jackson State's Victory Celebration Parade.
It is. 6. That is it. So proud of our JSU Tigers.
Correct. And then Saturday we have the Dr. MLK Parade that Councilman Kenny Stokes does a good job with pushing every year. And so to those of you who are available, go out, support the parade, and definitely make certain that you pay homage to the sacrifices Dr. King made.
He made the ultimate sacrifice, which was his life, so that we could have equality, freedom, rights, and it was he made the ultimate sacrifice. So that's one thing we can never forget. And Brittany, I just found out that they're having a banquet at Jackson State tonight in honor of Dr. King.
They are. Actually, Tyree Jones is going to receive the Law Enforcement Award of the Year, something to that sort.
That's great. Great guy. And they couldn't have picked anybody better than Sheriff Lewis. So congratulations to
Sheriff Jones.
I'm sorry, Sheriff Jones. I'm sorry. Couldn't have picked a better person. And definitely want to congratulate all of the others that will be receiving awards and being honored. So definitely that's a great thing. And all the good stuff. All right, moving on.
Okay, so let's hit on the shoe drop that Friends of Jackson is doing. So we have the shoe drop that's going to take place again this Saturday, January 18th, 2025, from 10 to 2, the Save-A-Lot parking lot. That's McDowell Road in Suncrest. And it is the Friends of Jackson community initiative that we're doing. We don't want your money, just your gently worn, used, or new shoes.
Please. Gently.
Yeah.
Gently worn.
Put emphasis on that.
Okay, no leaning.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Please donate.
No talking shoes.
Please donate to this worthwhile cause, and we'll be collecting shoes until February 1st, 2025. The support for these shoes that you're donating will help the students at Key Elementary. And so we're trying to rescue as many shoes again that we can. Again, emphasize what type of shoes are we looking for?
Gently used and gently worn shoes.
Correct.
No talking, no leaning shoes. So definitely. And that's been a pretty good initiative. How many shoes has have been raised as of month to date or year to date?
I think we're at about 600, 650. I didn't bring my numbers with me, but I think that's the number. But the goal is you all 2,500 pairs of shoes. So if anyone is out and you know that you have shoes, let me know. I'll be happy to stop by your home or meet you somewhere in a central location to pick up those shoes. Our goal is 2,500 pairs of shoes. Have any questions about this project, you can contact Miss Willa Watson at 601-541-1306. Again, shoes, rescuing shoes from the trash and landfill. You know, those are the shoes that we say, hey, we're too little, we're going to give them away, or we're going to give them to the homeless. Instead of doing that, give them to us, and we have a purpose in which those shoes will serve. Again, no leaning, peeling, talking, mildew shoes. Of course, if it's mildew and all that, just go ahead and dispose of it. Don't give anyone something that you don't want. And also, if you're working like myself, you can place a box or ask for permission at your employer. You can place a box at your desk and extra coworkers to donate shoes, and I'll be happy to stop by and pick up those shoes to make certain that Ms. Watson gets those shoes.
That's great. We want to definitely thank Ms. Willa Watson for spearheading this. She's been doing an amazing job. So Ms. Watson, if you're listening, we appreciate you, and the work that you're doing is not going unnoticed. And y'all, Ms. Watson lives in the best district in the land, District 66. We got some great people in our district, don't we?
We do, and we want to hit on the cleanup since she said that's what we're going to do in honor of Dr. King. So you all gear up, get ready, put your shoes on, and come on out and help us clean up in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That'll be next Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the theme for this cleanup is living the dream and keeping South Jackson clean. So join us for MLK Day weekend cleanup. And so any questions, concerns, you can contact Mr. Tara Patrick with the City of Jackson, or you can contact myself, and we'll be happy to make certain that you have everything that you need to come out and help us clean up on next Saturday.
That is great. What is it? Keeping South? What is it?
Living the dream and keeping South Jackson clean. I need you to remember that. Okay.
Living the dream and keeping South Jackson clean. I love that. So y'all, please come out and help. And it's no job too big, no job too small. We have something for every single person to do. So please come out and help us clean our community. That's the way we start getting people to start taking pride back in our community again. It's by cleaning the community up. So please come out, partner with us on that. We just want to do whatever we can to make our community better.
Yes. Let's navigate through some legislative stuff, and then we'll come back to some other things. So what do you all have going on up here today?
So legislatively, we have, I think I checked, we have about 775 House bills which have been filed. And so we're going through them, and they're still dropping. I saw Representative stacks like they're big. So we're still dropping them. So bills are being dropped, and after they're dropped, they're going to go over to the committee assignments, and then we'll be bringing them out to the floor. So next week will be a very busy week. We'll be in committee meetings all week next week, deciding what we're going to be bringing to the floor. But we actually had action today. We had our first bill brought to the floor this afternoon, 2:00 this afternoon, and we debated on that bill for about 2 hours. So about 2 hours, and everybody that's wondering, this was House Bill number 1, which is, I can't think of the name of it, but ultimately it was an income tax bill, a bill that there's been a lot of talk about the elimination of the state income tax. And so we took that measure up. It was it wasn't really a heated debate, but it was a good debate where we brought a lot of points out, and we brought challenges that the legislation possibly faces, as well as we highlighted on some of the points where we think that it can be beneficial to Mississippi. So we're very happy to take that bill up. We've been hearing a lot about it. I know the speaker had a task force this summer, and is out of session figuring out what we need to do for tax reform here in Mississippi. And so I'm glad that we were able to finally bring it up and bring it out, and and move on with it.
Okay. And so what did that bill entail? I know you all mentioned about income tax, but I think there are some other things that are, or language, should I say, that's inside the bill.
Yeah, it's a long bill, and this bill is 107 pages.
Wow.
We got this bill, Friday? And so I spent the whole weekend up until yesterday reading this bill and rereading the bill, trying to figure it out. because we look at revenue bills, they have a lot of tax codes in them. You got to go through tax codes and figure out what it is that they're trying to do. And so ultimately, in a nutshell, what this bill will do is it will phase out state income tax over the course of 10 years. So there would not be after in the year 2036, because it's going to start, I think, next year. So 2036, you will, all Mississippians, no matter what your income level is, you will not be taxed by the state of Mississippi for income tax. And so that's one thing that it does. Now, I'll tell people, when you talk about taxes and you're messing with taxes, a few things can happen. As you know, that's the only source of revenue that the municipalities and states have. So whenever you cut taxes, you're going to have to do one or two things. You have to cut the budget and city services, raise taxes in another area. So, we have to be really careful when we start messing with taxes. Anytime we hear tax cut, I promise you, it's not going to be a tax cut without some consequences to it.
Wow.
But in this instance, what we're going to be doing is it's going to be an increase on the gasoline tax. I think the current gasoline tax is 12% now. So it's going to be a 5-cent increase on gasoline tax. So we're going to be paying 5% more at the pumps, as well as there will be a 1.5% increase on retail tax. So like sales tax. So in the store, instead of 7%, it'll be 8.5%. And when I first heard this, I said, 8.5%. I said, wow, that's a lot of money. And so I said, let me look around and kind of see what neighboring states are paying. And we look around like Tennessee, Arkansas, and Alabama, and Louisiana. Louisiana's tax is 9.5%.
Really?
Arkansas, all of them are above 8.5. So even with an increase in retail tax, we're still below what the other states are. But one thing that I do like about this, and you'll never hear me say I like taxes, but one thing I like about this 1.5% is the fact that it's going to stay within your community. So if you're in Walmart environment, you go in there, of course, the 7% will still be allocated the way that it normally would. The state get a portion, the Byron gets a portion. But this other 1.5%, all of that's going to go back to the city of Byron.
Wow.
And so that's a good thing. We're paying an additional tax, but it's going to go back in our communities. And when it goes back in our communities, we're going to be, because I don't know what's going on over here. But when it goes back in our community, sorry, y'all, we got a little ruckus at the station. Come in a second, please. I can't even hear myself now. Thank you, Handy. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. So with this 1%, what was I lost my whole train of thought. I'm sorry.
You were telling us about the percentage will go back into your communities, even with the increase.
Yeah, even with the increase. So this is money that we're going to be reinvesting in our community. Now, I want to put something on everybody's mind right now because, there is some pushback. Anytime taxes are raised, there's pushback. There was a lot of pushback from me. If you listen to the session, you'll see me the things I spoke about on the floor. But let's think about things for a minute. And so when we talk about state income tax, you go to work every single day. And at the end of the week, month, or however often you get paid, you're going to pay state income tax on that money, no matter what. After you get your check, cash it, direct deposit, and go to the store, you're going to pay 7% sales tax on items. Mm-hmm. You're paying taxes 2 times. So now it'll be 8.5% at the store, and it's not anything coming out of your check. And then that 1.5% is going to go right back into your community. And so with taxes, they're going to get paid. We don't know how they're going to get paid, but they are going to get paid. Now, some legislation that I am going to be working on and initiatives I'm going to be working on next session is going to be increasing the minimum wage here in Mississippi.
Thank God.
We have not had a minimum wage increase in I don't know how long. And so now since sales tax is going up, we have cost of living going up, I think that this is going to give us some ammunition to go in and tackle this thing and say, hey, our people need more money in their pockets because there's going to be savings all across the board. And so that's, one thing that I do want to work on, a grocery tax. Now, that's something that has been what we've been talking about for the longest. We have the highest grocery tax in the nation right here in Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah. How is it that the poorest state in the nation has the highest grocery tax?
Wow.
Now, they were aggressively talking about elimination of the grocery tax. And I was 100% opposed to eliminating it because a lot of your small municipalities, this is all they have. They will go under, they will struggle. we're not going to eliminate it, but we're going to reduce it down to 2.5. It's either 2 or 2.5%. I think it's 2.5%. It's at 7 right now. But what's going to happen with this is the municipalities are not going to lose any money. The state is going to absorb the difference. And so our municipalities are currently getting 1.3. They're going to get 1.5 off of gross sales. So if it's $100. So it's going to be the same exact thing. And they actually are going to get a little bit more, with this new formula, that we're trying to implement. And so that's going to make sure that our municipalities don't go under. We got a lot of calls when this bill came out and saying, property taxes are going to go up and people are going to get laid off and all of that, because I think a lot of people really didn't understand the logistics behind it and kind of how the funding formula was. Because if it was that municipalities are going to be losing money, of course, they would have to lay people off. When we're looking at the calculations and projections, the city of Jackson alone, off of this 1.5, is going to get about $4 million additional dollars.
Wow.
And when this money goes right to the municipalities, they can do what they choose to with it, legally do with it for our constituents. So it's not going in anybody's pocket. But for city services, so we talk about roads and things like that, we're giving our municipalities more money, which all the time is a good thing. Now, another question that came up on the floor, because we had some CCID language. Currently, the CCID receives 9% of Jackson's retail sales tax.
And why is it?
Well, everybody needs money. And so in order to fund CCID, they're pulling money from the city of Jackson, since it's located in the city of Jackson. Now, me personally, since the CCID was their great idea, then the state should fund CCID. They shouldn't be messing with Jackson resources.
Correct.
But right now it's 9%. It's going to be phased up in the year 2036. That 9% will be 25%.
What?
So it'll be 25% of Jackson's retail tax that the CCID will be receiving. And so my question on the House floor today was, since we are increasing the budget of CCID, number one, why are we increasing it? Number two, what services are we going to be getting with an increased budget? Well, what is going to be offered for us? And ultimately, in my world, and in a perfect world, I would much rather see that money go to Jackson Police Department.
Correct, because they desperately need it.
They desperately need it, but the saving grace is, we're going to be putting millions or more dollars into the city of Jackson now. So Jackson can use that money under good leadership, can use that money to expand the police force, get firemen raises, because our firefighters need raises. So the city will be able to do things, as they will be getting, quite a bit more money, from that. This is a very complex plan. It's complicated. It's 107 pages. We were actually, another thing, the 5% increase on fuel tax, all of that money is going to be going to MDOT. So we talk about, and you guilty of this, so be careful what you ask for, because you be guilty of this. Commissioner Simmons, we need some lights on 220. And so this 5% is going to be going to MDOT. I think they're projecting about $500 million is what we'll get in the increase in gasoline tax. And we got to consider, a lot of people travel through Mississippi.
They do.
People won't stop in Mississippi and get gas. So now they're going to be paying for using our roads, come through here tearing our roads up. But that 5% will go to MDOT. And so when y'all remember and think back to the lottery bill, the Alice Clark lottery bill, out of that lottery bill, $80 million was allocated to MDOT, and everything over $80 million went to the education, the EEF, the Education Enhancement Fund. So what's happening is, since we're giving MDOT this additional 5%, we're going to take $100 million from the lottery proceeds and allocate that to the public employee retirement system.
Good.
Now, one thing that I want people, and I don't want to scare anybody, so y'all please don't let this scare you, but our PERS system is, we're in trouble, because we have a lot of people that are retiring. We're not adding to the workforce, so people can contribute and pay into the program. And I was shocked. I knew that we were struggling by a few $100 million, but we had a meeting with our legislative budget office this evening. Guess how much the deficit in PERS is right now? Just guess. That's at a few $100 million. What do you think?
Three.
$26 billion. So that's the deficit in PERS. And so what we have happening is we're going to take 100 million from the lottery and put that in the PERS system until we get the PERS system refilled, or whatever the word is stabilized to 80%. And after that, the money will be reallocated in a different way. And ultimately, this tax plan and thing, that we passed, it's a restructuring plan. We see that there are issues in the state all across the board. And let's face the fact, Mississippi, we need more industry here. We need more economic development. We need more revenue in the state. So since we do not have additional revenue in the state, we have to figure out a way that we can revamp our tax code. Now, let me explain something, because there's been a lot of misunderstanding about the education piece. And so with the state lottery, in the past, it was 80% that went towards MDOT, and the rest of it went to education. This is what we say, it went to education. What I want people to understand is that did not go to the funding. It was not a part of the state budget for education. That's a whole nother fund. It's called the Education Enhancement Fund. And this has several things that are included in it. And I'm in the process of researching and tracking that money. It's like over $100 million in there. And so in this Education Enhancement Fund, if $0 is put in the Education Enhancement Fund, it's not going to affect the budget from the Mississippi Department of Education for public education. Because a lot of people, they were concerned with it, and it's going to kill education. And no, it's not going to do that. Now, is this to say that all of our state budgets are going to be fully funded and for the next 5 years? Absolutely not. Based upon revenue, and I'm just going to be open and honest with people. If I sit here and tell you, oh, this is the master plan and we ain't got to worry about any money here in Mississippi, I'll be lying to you. We don't know. And if we are lacking in places, we will have to adjust budgets. But what I can promise you is that I'm going to fight to make sure that our budgets, such as education, the important things, healthcare, I'm going to fight to make sure that we do not cut any of those budgets. But we're projecting and looking at it right now. It looks like we are going to be fine. This plan will be phased in over a 10-year period. That's one thing that I did like. Now, all of the gas tax and the gas tax will be immediately. So it's not going to be 10 years. But I like that, because what that allows us to do is, I think we're going to cut, the grocery tax is going to go from 7% to 4%. So that's going to be an instant. You people will instantly feel that. But with the state income tax, by slowly cutting it, and like I said, we're going on projections. We can project anything, and we can have another recession, and so we don't know. But by us slowly tapering it down until we taper it out, if we run into a deficit, we can say, y'all, this is not working. We are going to have to pause the suspension of the income tax until we can figure out another solution, because there is no perfect solution out there. There's no, as some of my colleagues look for perfect bills. There's no such thing as a perfect bill in the legislature. It's always give and take, but it's all about not compromising your beliefs and not compromising your integrity. And it's always about doing what's best for your district. And just want to let everybody know, this bill it did pass by, I think, 88 votes. I was one of the 8 yes votes from the Democratic. I think 7 Democrats may have voted yes on it, but I was one of the 7, however many it was. We voted on it. We had some people that did not vote. Majority of the votes, all of the no votes were from the Democratic Party. And what we have to do is, you have to vote what's going to be in the best interest of your district. We all come from different geological areas here in Mississippi. You have to vote as to what's going to benefit your people. And for people that voted no, I don't have any issues with them. Ones that voted yes, I mean, it doesn't matter, because you're doing what's best for your district. And I felt like that was the best decision, for my district, because the issues that we're addressing, the stabilization of the PERS system, the elimination of the grocery tax, those have been issues that the Democratic Party has been talking about for some time. We remember, Brandon Presley, when he ran for governor, he was going to eliminate the state income tax. And so, we're getting it done, but we're getting it done in a smart way, because if anybody tell you that we're going to just cut taxes and it's not another tax coming from somewhere, you better believe you need to be scared of that. Because it's another tax coming. If taxes were cut, because my fear, and I told you and everybody else, I said I would never agree with eliminating the state income tax. Because I know if the state income tax were eliminated without a contingency plan, it's just taken away, that our ad valorem property taxes were going to have to go up. Something was going to have to go up. And we don't want those things touched. And the reason we want those things touched is because those are necessities. Our utility bills are necessities. Our rent is a necessity. Mortgages are a necessity. When we think about sales tax on items that we want, those are not a lot of those are not necessarily necessities. When we talk about the food tax, it's going to be decreasing. And so, though that's where we're standing on this bill now. It goes across the hall to the Senate. So the Senate has to look at this bill and say, do we like it? Do we love it? And I'm going to tell you what they're going to say. They're going to say, no, we don't like it. We don't love it because we have an even better plan.
Wow.
So they're going to work on it and they're going to send it back to us. And so everybody, you will be hearing this all over the news that the House passed tax reform bill. That's great and dandy. We have, but that's not going to be the final bill. It's going to come back and it's no telling what is going to happen, with it. But just know that we're in the talks of it. And everybody that's called me, they're in favor of elimination of state income tax.
Wow.
And
a biz up there.
And this is, and I was telling you earlier, we were talking about like, this is something that it's going to affect every single class of people. When we talk about government, any policy we put in place is only going to protect one group of people normally. This protects every single person that is, let me rephrase, every single person that's working. It's going to protect them. And so for the state retirees, because I talked to a lot of retirees and they're like, well, I'm retired. And so this is going to hurt me because I'm having an increase in my sales tax. And I actually say, you retire from the state. I said, well, this right here is going to protect that 13th check.
I know they love it.
And that's a fact. We talk about our Social Security system here. By the time you and I retire, Social Security is going to be non-existent because of the deficit there. Well, guess what? With the PERS system, if we don't do something soon, it's going to be the same way.
Wow.
It was up in, was it Michigan? I think they had issues with the public employee retirement system there, and it basically went bankrupt, and a lot of people lost their retirement. They had to come in and reform it, and so we got to work on this because PERS. I told everybody PERS is going to be a top priority this session, and so this bill really took care of a lot of the financial issues that we had. Now, if it passes like this, do I think we're going to have to go in and amend it and change it? Absolutely. I think there are, I'm not gonna say I think I know that there are going to have to be some revisions and changes once we start seeing how the projections and how the money comes in, which I'm completely, fine with doing that. But I'm happy that we got this out of the way. So now that we can really get to work because we haven't touched any other bill. That's been talking to Capitol. Our turns and running around like chickens without a head. We've been trying to get clarification of it. I got so much stuff, that in regard to it. And it was one of the bills that kept me up at night because this bill, we talk about reforming a tax code, that's going to affect every single Mississippian. And not only for 1 year, this is going to affect us for a very long time. And I want to make sure I was doing my proper due diligence because you have a lot of noise around you. Anytime you're taking up big measures like this, you have a lot of noise around you. And when you have noise around you coming from colleagues, you got to realize that people are there to represent their people. And so what's good for their district may not necessarily be good for yours. So you have to be knowledgeable. You have to take input. And that's one thing I did. I took a lot of input. I had listening sessions with my constituents saying, how do you feel about this? Because at the end of the day, I represent the people of District 66. It's not what I want. It's not what my colleagues want. It's not what special interest group want. It's about my loyalty to my district and making sure that they're well aware, well informed, and we can answer any questions, that they have about it. And so y'all just continue to pray for us and we're going to keep on pushing forward with it.
Wow.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Too much.
And that's just scratching the surface of it. It's just scratching the surface of it. So it's a lot. Those tax bills, revenue bills are always very difficult bills.
Wow. Well, you all, let's get civically engaged and inclined to what's going on. Um, I really highly recommend that our election commissioners and other elected officials start having some type of, I guess you would call it, educational sessions to
Yes.
inform the young people about the importance of voting, and the reason why voting is so important and how it impacts your present and your future.
You know, absolutely. Another thing that I do want to encourage people, like we talk about how important voting is.
Mhm.
And so when we look at some of the areas that are saying, we're going to be affected by this 1.5%
Mhm.
because of our, we don't have economic development here. We don't have industry here. I want to charge those people with looking at their elected leaders and saying, are we making the right choice?
Mhm.
We need leaders that are going to build our community so we can have economic development, because if they had them in those areas, this wouldn't really be an issue. I can speak for, in my district, it's not going to be an issue because we have things going. We have the momentum going. And that's one reason I want to really work on getting the minimum wage. Hey, that's Sonia. Hey, what's
Hey,
going on, family?
Sonya.
That's what I'm talking about. Or you over there, she over there, but she clean. You got them fur boots on, don't you? Gonna be the passed out over the fur boots and that fur hat on there. It's too
Listen,
hot, Sonya.
she didn't have on any fur today. Sonya didn't. She dressed. We were busy today, so we had to dress comfortable today.
Look, Sonya waiting on that cold snap. This
That's
cold
it.
snap come.
That's it.
But yes, so those are things, the questions that we need to start asking ourselves. We need to talk about voter engagement, because if we had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, we would have had more say so into how this legislation, was patterned and things that we could have changed. And so when you're working and you're, a minority, ultimately you have to, compromise, a little bit more than, what they say, it ain't a phone, the rabbit got the gun.
That's it.
And so you have to, you have to really compromise. So that's what we have to, oh, hey, Larry, thank you so much. Yeah, voting is good. Informed voting is much better.
Totally agree.
That's a mouthful, y'all. We got to stop going out there and vote for somebody because we like their name or they're popular, or we go to church with them. We got to start making sure that we are properly vetting our candidates and getting people that are there to serve. One thing about this bill, I read this bill so much that I think I turned into a tax bill. But I have
I
been,
can believe it.
I have been, this bill has kept me up at night. You have to have people that are serious about what they do. If you're not serious about what you're doing, you don't take this job serious, you can really mess the lives up of a lot of people. Honestly, that's why the state is in the shape that it's in right now, because we have had people in the past that do not care about what happens. And for me, that's a problem. And I've seen, just being in the legislature, just the short time I've been there, I'm seeing a shift where people are really starting. We have people that are, and I hear this from other people that have been there forever and a day. Like, we're so happy with this new energy, that's coming through here. Y'all actually think, y'all actually, won't change. So we gotta keep that up and keep that going. And some way we're gonna get changed. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Yes, and we also need to visit our economic climate. Our economic climate is dwindling at a rapid pace. So we have to find something, not something, we have to introduce or get businesses here so that we can definitely boost our economy. Because when, businesses leave, that means money is leaving.
Yes.
And so our city is suffering, and you can see that all around as businesses are steadily closing, and we can't find out the reason, but some of it is crime. But there are other factors as well that are causing people or businesses to leave. So we have to definitely, going back to what you alluded to, leadership, we have to make certain that we put the right people in the seats. And it's more to just saying, hey, I want to serve, but you have to have a vision. I think that's where people are forgetting that you can't serve without a vision. You have to see where would I like to see my district, my ward, my area in 5 to 10 years. It's really goal setting. That's really the object.
That's it. And you make a very good point. You have to set goals and you have to stick to them. And another thing, you have to be outspoken. You have to use your head and you have to stand up for, what's right, even if you're standing alone.
Correct.
I mean, and I think I told you earlier in the week, I said, I'm struggling with this bill. I'm about 40% in favor of it.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, about 45%, about 46%. I kept having conversations about it. And once I made my mind up that it was a yes, it was a yes. And I told you before going this, I said, as of right now, I'm a yes vote unless I hear something today on the floor that concerns me. And I don't care if it only would have been one out of 122. If it only been 1 yes, it would have been me because that's how I felt about it. And so that's part of voting, voting your conviction.
And
Um,
listen, you all, we had some argumentative discussions about it because I was like, why are you voting for that? Because it sounds like a bunch of foolery.
they're raising taxes, doing this and that.
Right.
But you have to really sit down and analyze it and think about it and and go with it. So we need leaders. We need people that understand when people go out and elect you to office. They elect you because they believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that you're going to make the right decision for them and for your community. They believe in you and they trust you. And whatever vote that it is I make, I'm readily available to explain because I owed it to the people to explain why I voted the way that I did. I'm never going to vote away and go hide in the corner. No, I'm going to say, hey, and if it's a bad vote and I find out later, I will say, hey, I made a mistake on that. We're only human. Made a mistake. I learned from it. And so we have to have people that are going to really take up and be true leaders. There's no such thing as a perfect leader.
No.
But we have leaders that seek wise counsel, and I'm one of those. I'm telling you, I called all over everywhere. Would this be okay? Can you talking to policy advisors and people from other states or legislators? I know, hey, can you tell me about it? And of course, they would identify some areas that were areas of concern, and we navigated through it. But that's part of what we're there to do. So I'm excited about it and watching House Bill 1 and just see kind of where it goes.
Well, I'm glad that you are open to some versatile thinking because it definitely takes that to make a sound decision. I do want to switch gears a little bit and hone in on some JPS issues that have been brought to my attention that are really disheartening. But before I go there, I do want to say something, you all, and I kind of sound like a broken record because I say this weekly, but it's kind of like when you go to church, the pastor keeps saying, and he's like, I'm going to keep saying it until I feel like you all are understanding and getting it, in which I feel the same way we do our children and our spouses or significant others when there's something that we are displeased with. You all, let's stop the bickering. Let's stop backbiting. Let's stop being cowards. If there's something that you don't like about a person, whether that be personal or professional, if you don't have the guts to go to that person and address it, definitely don't go share mischief amongst others about that person. A lot of times we're forming opinions about people. We have no foundational facts about it, but it's information that we've heard that we're bowing into as if we know what's going on. We weren't present, but we're going on what the third party has stated. Let's stop doing that. I read something today on Facebook that was very disheartening to me. Everyone knows I call Fabian my bestie husband. That's not to offend anybody else or anything. It's a circle of us, and I'm really probably the only female in the circle other than another female. I mostly hang around men because I definitely always want to find out different perspectives. Men think totally different from women, and we're so nurturing and so much in our emotions. So when you socialize with other men, you're like, oh, that's a different thought. I hadn't thought about it that way. So I said that to say, someone said that, I'm trying to place him on a pedestal or, I'm always sharing. No, when you've been blessed to have someone positive in your life and they shine a light, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I hadn't always had a person like Fabian in my life. I've had people who've came and ran game and meant me no good, but I couldn't see it because, as my grandmama would say, you can't see for looking. So
I've heard that before too.
Yeah. So when you find good people, you find people that are passionate, you celebrate those people. I'm not envious. I'm not jealous of him. I'm glad to be a part of the team so that I can make it to the next level of life where God wants me to be. It's never a competition with us. It's all about genuine friendship. We argue. Probably people be surprised when we come on air. We like best of friends, and we probably been just got finished arguing.
We'll argue again after we got the show.
Right, about something else.
I'm thinking of something to argue about
right.
now.
So that's what we do. And I'm saying that to say, you all, we got to stop it. We hold on to so much pettiness that we don't even see the big things that are going lacking. Because we're holding on to little minute things like we're in kindergarten. He can't be my friend. You got to be my friend. That's my toy. You can't play with. Come on, you all of us are 25 plus years old. Let that petty stuff go. Let's celebrate each other. If you can't help them, you don't like a person, just stay away from them. But don't cause mischief and tearing up people's character because of a personal vendetta that you have with that person that you have yet to go address.
It's crazy. I mean, people, like I said, people are weird. And I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to even break that one down.
I'm just so tired of hearing it, seeing it, and then it's like here we are. We're not bothering anybody. To my knowledge, I know I don't have any known beef with anyone, but people are creating fictitious things that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, but when you're out there and you're doing good things, people always want to find a way to put a damper on it instead of them saying, "Hey, how can we help?" Or what can I do? Go to the other side of town to do the same initiative. I mean, it doesn't matter. Put that energy into something productive, and something good. I got a lot of talk when I first went to the legislature last session about, freshmen can't do this and the freshmen can't do, freshmen can't do, and I didn't say anything to them, but I showed them at the end of the day what a freshman can do. It's not what they call you; it's what you answer to. But that's why our community looks the way it looks now.
Very, very affectionate.
That's why it looks the way that it looks now, because we have people that don't want to get out here and do the work. They want to constantly, want the accolades. They want to constantly criticize. And what does Dr. Henderson say on this show?
Organize, don't criticize.
Dr. Henderson, I hope you're listening. Organize, don't criticize.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, I don't even feed into it. We got bigger problems. We got bigger fish to fry.
And Fabian has taught me, friend, you got to stop dignifying everything with the response. Just let it be like word on the duck's back. And I'm like, yeah, friend, but I'm not at this stage yet. So it's a work in progress. Each of us struggle in our own areas of certain things, but I definitely want to keep publicly saying that maybe if we hear it more and we share it, it'll change our mindset.
Look at Miss Dolly on here. Y'all say facts. Fabian is truly a gem.
Miss Sanders, you are definitely 100% right. I asked him, where have you been all my life?
Look, I appreciate y'all. Look, y'all just trying to get some Valentine's Day because y'all know Valentine's Day be here. That's all that it is.
Yeah, Miss Sanders, you gonna get us a nice gift, girl. We might get us another present Valentine's Day.
I had laid the rest of Valentine's Day.
Right.
But yeah, it's true. And like I said, we got bigger issues where, but raising the family. And working, like I say, some of the stuff that we have going on here in the state. You don't have
time for the pettiness and minuteness, as you alluded to. There's so much other things
that
we have going on.
Dealing with a $6.7 billion budget for the state of Mississippi. So I think that versus who friends with who, I think that trumps it.
Right, I agree. We are going to talk about JPS. We've had some very concerning.
Before you do that, I want you to tell everybody what I did this morning.
I'm not going to say it on air. I'm not.
Ain't nobody noticed but you. I was telling folks and bring it to their attention. Tell them what I
did. Oh, God, there's no enough words. So anyway, I'm at my desk. I say, oh, I'm hungry. I'm on the phone with him, talking to my colleague, Sonia. So we're talking, laughing. I said, well, I'm going to order me some Big John's. You want some? He said, oh, that does sound good. So, okay, we meet up at Big John's. Oh, he walks in. I look at his feet.
I'm clean. I know I was clean.
Y'all, he's showing up clean because I keep telling him to be the side of my son. He isn't giving it to him yet. I say, friend.
I walked in there knowing I was clean.
Listen, y'all. I said, friend. I said, bestie husband. I said, you ain't. You supposed to get dressed in the dark tonight. He, what? I said, friend, you got on 2 different shoes.
Let me. They look a lot alike when they're in the dark. You can't tell. Now look at these.
Listen, y'all. He always fussing in the morning about his son rushing.
But see, they about the same designer. So that's how I looked at the inside. I thought they was the same.
That's what he get, y'all. He rushing in the morning talking about his son. He gonna be late. Listen to him about how he dressed, and then today he came back on him. And then he come out the house. Look at your feet. You got on 2 different. I said, you gonna go home? I'm not going home to change clothes. I got work to do. I said, you can't walk around all day with them shoes on. Yes, I am watching. You all see, here he comes.
Now why?
2 different shoes on.
Why in the world would I try 20 minutes for gas too high? We think get 5% gas. Gas too high to be driving over there. I was sporting around the Capitol. You can tell me I wasn't clean today.
Listen, you all.
They were comfortable
2
too.
Different shoes. He gonna say, You out of all people, you always notice what you shouldn't notice. I said, well, the first thing I look at is a man's their feet. Their feet ain't right. I ain't got too much conversation. Sonya, you're right. Keep your mind. You are tell him keep his mind.
Thank you, Abel. Abel said he was still sharp. That's right, but I still can rock it. I can still rock it.
Just don't look at his eyes from the ankles down, but from the ankles up. He casket sharp. He's ready today.
But you know, I wonder how many people notice my shoes. They just they want to say that. Because I would tell them, I said, y'all look at, because it was, who was it? Somebody had some nice shoes on today, one of our lobbyists. And they said, oh yeah, they were looking and said, oh, I like your shoes. I said, y'all don't look at my feet. They looked down. Angela said, at least they were the same color.
Miss Angela?
But that's,
I'm gonna give him a pass today. If he come out tomorrow looking like that, I'm gonna see if we got somewhere we can put him.
That's how off, like I said, that's how off I was because, like I said,
that's because he went to bed early. You are. He does not go to bed early.
I went to bed early, and I mean, my mind was just all over. I was just trying to get up that day. I said, I got to get up there because
if he goes to bed before midnight, you better check and see something's wrong.
I'll be up tonight, all night. We'll be all night until the sun come up. I'll make up for it. I have a job in the morning, so he won't be on my phone all night. We got going at 9 in the morning, so I got to be at the Capitol early in the morning. But yeah, I thought that was funny. We have to have humor. But I didn't go home. Y'all told I wouldn't. No.
He was serious. Adam, I'm not going home. I said, "Fuck it, 2 different shoes though." No, I'm not going home with 2 different shoes on. I'm not going home.
I just hope the cameras didn't get my feet. Hopefully they got my.
Oh, if I see it on the camera, you all, it's a Facebook post coming to you near. So you all, let's pick up on JPS before we get out.
Oh, we have a caller online. Oh, let's see here. Hey, caller, you on the air?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I want to get that number where you say you donate some shoes. I know I got the 516.
Okay, it's 601. 541.
Oh, well, I made a mistake. Hold on a minute. Okay, 541. 5. Okay.
1306.
Wait a minute. 13?
Yes, ma'am. 06.
06.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And it's Miss Watson.
Miss Watson?
Yes, ma'am.
WTSOE.
Yes, ma'am. And we thank you.
Thank you so much.
And tell your friends sitting there, I made a mistake, had on 2 mismatched boots.
See there? Thank you. Thank you. It happens.
Yeah, I went to the doctor. And I was in Flowood. So this lady was walking behind me. She said, "Oh, I like your style." And I said, "Who you talking to me?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "What you mean?" She said, "You got on a blue boot and a black boot." I said, "Well, it's too far for me to go back home." I said,
I'm gonna tell you.
I get mad about wearing mismatched because I have a mismatched socks too.
I bet you those boots were comfortable. They're more comfortable than they ever been that day you had them on with them. It'd be comfortable. Y'all need to try it.
Everybody looking at me, and when I got to the reception desk, somebody had already said she got on mismatched boots. So I just throw my leg up and say, "Yes, ma'am."
That's something he would do.
That's it.
I made a mistake.
That's it. But
that's okay. I made today.
They were yours to mismatch, just like mine were mine. Bought for and paid for. So you want to wear them like that's fine.
That's right. And now these kids now they have mismatched tennis shoes on and mismatched socks.
They sure do. That's the style.
That is true.
That's the style they wear.
We're trying to be young and hip. That's what I'm gonna tell them next time.
That's right. But I wasn't trying to be young. I just grabbed the wrong boot. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Right. Bye-bye.
See there, I ain't don't want to. I feel better now, y'all. See, she ain't go back on me. I told you, you ain't finna go back no house.
You all have to know him.
Don't waste your time.
You have to know him. You all outside of radio and professional. Mm-hmm. You have to know him when he get to holler. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I ain't doing it.
But anyway, you all want to switch gears real quick before we get off and talk about JPS, and I have another announcement. JPS, I've been informed about several schools that do not have HVAC. They're using portable air conditioning heating units in the school. I've been informed about sewer coming back up in the schools. I've also been informed of a most recent robbery at one of my mentor sites at Key Elementary. Actually, a neighbor in the area told me about it. I hadn't even heard about it. And we visit Key twice a month for 1 hour every other Wednesday. And I was unaware of the robbery. However, I want to say this to JPS. You all gave them $18 million. Am I correct?
Yeah, they got 18 million additional funding in the last formula.
Okay.
Mhm.
So before you put all of the money into the pockets, and I get that everyone wants a raise because we all need it, everybody's feeling the crunch of the increase of the economy. But you got to take care of your buildings. Children cannot function in environments where it is not up to standard and it's not adequate enough. Now, some of this may just be hearsay or just maybe gossip, but some of the statements that I've heard, I know for certain that they are facts because I know how JPS operate from a student to an employee. So I know everything that I'm hearing are not lies. JPS, from the superintendent on down, we have to do a better job at making certain that what people are stating is not factual. It makes no sense. You got $18 million and you have not fixed up a lot of these schools. You just repaired Wingfield and you turned around and closed it. And I get that the enrollment is low and you got to make certain business mind decisions. I get all of it. But I would rather have a smaller classroom size with 10 to 12 students with one teacher to student ratio versus having 30 students in a class. They're all on different levels. Most of them are in the bottom 10, 15, 20%. So you have IEPs and other learning aids that you have to provide or learning assistance that you have to give to those students versus having all of these students in one classroom. They got hoods on, they're cold, they can't function, they can't come, they're hungry, their home does not have adequate lights, water. How do you expect children to come to school and be their best self and do their best when they're in environments such as these? So JPS, we got to get to the bottom of finding out. And it bothered me all night because I talked to Fabian about it last night and this morning to know that these schools are going. And it seems like for me, it's most of the schools that are out south. Key, Timberland, Cardozo, all the schools out south are the ones that are really feeling the brunt of the hurt. You have Southwell, who they closed. All the HVAC systems are gone over there.
Mm-hmm.
You close all these, you close all these schools. Where is all the equipment in the schools? The refrigerators, the stoves. Where is that? So when you all talk about Shad White and Phil Bryant, he coming our way too because we're doing the same thing that they were allegedly accused of doing. We're misappropriating money, and that's the reason why our city and our county looks the way that it does.
We definitely have to do better. Especially by our children.
Right.
Education, that was at the top of my campaign platform. And I remember talking about like the schools, within my district. What we have to realize is, and I had a bill last session for free lunch for every student in the school. JPS does that already, so that doesn't apply to them. But when we talk about, our schools, a lot of our children, that's their escape from a bad situation.
Very true.
That's a safe space for a lot of our students.
Very true.
And if our students are going to a place that's supposed to be a safe space and it's not better than where they came from at home, how can we expect them to want better? How can we expect them to do better? The school is supposed to be where you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, going to school growing up, our schools were always on point. They had nurture in there. We had the facilities where we had everything working. And so I'm with you on that, Brittany. We have to,
Yes.
we have to make sure, and part of the consolidation plan, the schools were being consolidated so that they could pump more money into the schools that needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to figure out, if that's happening. So I think these are conversations that we probably need to start having.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to start because we can't let the school year end with these same issues that are on the radar now that should not be on there if they receive $18 million and you giving raises to people or that rightfully deserve it if they're in the classrooms. I'm not stating that, but you also needed to put that money into your buildings. If you already know that you're working with older buildings, you needed that.
And something else that I do want to put out there is we fund education every single year. Education is only funded for one calendar year. It's going to come time for us to fund education again. And if we cannot demonstrate to our colleagues that the money is being used for the purposes intended to improve our schools, it's an uphill battle for us.
Correct.
That's a fight. They're not obligated. No legislator that walks in that building is obligated to get anything. Whenever we ask for something, we have to show just cause and proof as to why we need it. And when we look at what's been going on at JPS, like during this cold, we had like several schools that were closed due to the heating system. And
It
I
should have happened.
and I can see, honestly see, and I'm not trying to down or talk, I'm just putting facts out here. I can honestly see when we go and ask for more money, that they say, well, they didn't even fix the heating and cooling stuff. So what is going on? They're going to ask us what's going on with the money. So we got to make sure that we do use the money for what we're supposed to, because that's taxpayer money. That's not my
That
money.
part.
That's not any of
That
my
part.
colleagues. That's taxpayers' money that's going to our schools. So
That part.
we definitely got to send that. This is the man with the plan, Representative Brown, coming in here.
Well, you all, we want to revisit
I heard you made a bad vote today too.
two announcements before we conclude our show.
I was just
The
kidding.
shoe
It's all
drop
good.
that Friends of Jackson is hosting. We wanted to give the accurate count, and so Ms. Watson states that the count is 1,050, you all, and our goal is 2,500. So continue to help us collect new, used, gently worn shoes so that we can help any size, male or female, we're accepting. And then also Miss Angela Morgan of Utica wants me to announce that they are having a program. It's the James family of Utica, Mississippi presents second annual Unity in the Community. January 25th, 2025 at 5 p.m. That's St. John MB Church, 5456 Morrison Road, Utica, Mississippi, 39175. The program is free. New Oak Ridge Choir, Utica Community Choir, West Haven, United in Christ, and I'll announce it again next week because it's on the same day as our cleanup. But I want to make certain that I announce that.
Where's the drop off for your tennis?
We'll pick them up. You let me know, and I'll pick them up from you.
A single pair?
I'll pick up a single pair if you want me to.
Or you can bring it to Cap. I can get them.
Well, I'll bring them to the capital. I got several I can bring you.
Yes, sir.
We
Most of them.
appreciate that, Representative Bo Brown.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us this week. We will see y'all next week on the Reliable Representation Show. Y'all take it easy. Have a great week. Goodbye. I think you got us off there, didn't you? All right. Let's see here. We done.